I thought the game today, especially in the second half, came down to second chance points and the points in the paint, which we knew that's what their strength was, and we just didn't do a good enough job to do that, to keep them out of the paint in transition. Every time, seemed like every time when we had a chance to kind of catch some momentum, we came up short offensively, and they came back and made us pay on the other end. I have to find a way to get our guys to understand the consistency and the tough stuff, the toughness, the second chance points, the rebounding, and I thought that was the biggest difference in the game. We just have to find a way to embrace that. Talent is just not enough, and we got to do a better job. I have to find a way to get these guys to understand how important those things are. We talk about it, we practice it, we just don't execute it, in the games. So that's on me and my staff to get these guys to do the tough stuff and fall in love with the tough stuff. We've talked about that, especially the last couple of games. That's the job at hand. We got to continue to fight, and that's all you can do. You only can fix this by continuing to fight and having confidence and pushing forward. Questions?
Adrian, there was some clear frustration shown today by the fan base. At this point in the season, what is your message for them on why they should still believe in this team?
Well, I think the one thing is we've shown the ability to be able to play and to win, and also, I think this group will keep fighting. The coaching staff will keep fighting. It's a lot more opportunities out there. The season, provides us this year with more opportunities than we've had in the past. So it's still a lot of basketball to be played, and I think this team, and my coaching staff, we're going to keep working, and I think we can, change this and turn this thing around. I know we can. Again, we've been close, but it's just, we haven't been able to get over the hump yet, and I think this team has the ability to do it, and we will continue to work and push hard. But the season is far from over with. Unlike, years in the past, you would have to basically, have to go and do something, very, very hard. But we still got a lot of great opportunities, and this team has competed. We've come up short, so, it's there. We just got to be able to do some little things just a little bit better.
When you were in Las Vegas, the team played really good defense. The defense was tougher. You came home against Tennessee, played pretty tough defense. What has happened with the erosion of the defense, do you think?
Yeah, that's something that we've talked about. Obviously, in league play, it's a little bit more familiarity with and the game planning and things like that. So that always is something. But we talked about that as a team, and I talked about that with the guys. Like we got to get our edge back. And I thought today was a good sign on that end. When you look at us being able to force them over turn them over 16 times. So that's heading in the right direction. I think the games before that we did not do that. We did not turn teams over. And I thought today we got out in transition and got some points in transition, and that's a big part of what we do. So we have to keep doing that, and I think we've lost that edge a little bit, and we've talked about it. So we got to keep trying to be aggressive and be in people's faces and not foul as much, and make people take tough shots.
With your third straight loss and some of that noise outside, kind of circling, how do you keep your players' focus and attention on the season and the task at hand?
I think that's always the issue or the problem trying to do it, and what I've learned is, the noise is never going away. The noise will always be there. Especially now, with the different platforms and everything, and parents, around. The noise was there when we were winning, and the noise is there when you're losing. So, that's something that comes with it. And, my job and our job is to get our guys focused, to get them to buy into what we're trying to do and keep their heads up. And so that's what we're going to do.
Coach, personally for you, what's your frustration level? You talked about how you practice, you talk at practice, but the execution isn't necessarily happening in the games. How frustrating is it for you that your message isn't getting across?
The message is being received. I think the inconsistencies, and I think, again, the timing. Like we just had some plays there, like, we got a shot, we got the ball where we needed to get, we don't make it. Someone, kind of, is frustrated. They get back, they get an easy point. I think in particular we had probably 2 5-point swings where, we had a chance to do something, make a shot that we normally make. We don't make it, they go back down and they cash in on that. So that's the frustrating part, because they do it. We work, our staff, everybody puts so much time and effort in, and our players as well. And it's not 40 minutes. It's those dips. And I've been saying that from the beginning of the year. We've been trying to fight those dips all year, and so I have to try to figure out something better. Something better. That's my job. I don't run away from that. I don't shy away from that. But also, our guys, it goes both ways. I think our guys have to, step up as well.
Coach, over the years, like a big dunk, fire up the crowd.
Yeah.
Is there a teaching point? Do you teach JJ to do anything different in that situation, or do you just live with that happening?
Yeah, we want to be aggressive. Makes and misses are part of a game, and when the game really boils down to it, it's about makes and misses. And defensively, I think we got them to miss, but they got the ball back, and they capitalized. So, but in that situation, I wouldn't tell JJ to do anything except make it. You just got to make it. But that's how the ball has been bouncing.
Coach, Nate and Tyler were pretty shut down today from deep. Just what did you see that made that happen, and how important is it for them to get going for this offensive?
It's very important for us. We had that stretch where we wasn't making threes, and then, since we got into conference, we were making threes, and that's a big part of it. I thought Miami's defenders did a really good job of getting through those screens. Getting through our screens, blowing them up, making those guys on the catch put the ball on the floor. They didn't give our guys much room. So I thought that's what Miami did.
Coach, you talk about falling in love with the tough stuff, wanting the guys to fall in love with those difficult things, those little pieces that they need to correct. Why do you feel like they haven't fallen in love with it up to this point, this many games in?
I think, we talk about young men, a lot of young men that come in, and, like anything, I'm sure this is for most coaches, that their identity is probably a little different. And so, that's the challenge, to get them to understand those things. And that's coaching, that's my job, to get them to understand that. Like, you have to do those things, right? Like, those little things, those loose balls, those 50-50s, the miss, the game plan, right? Like, you got to know the game plan. And, that's my job. And if to get them to do it, or try to find someone that can do it.
Coach, your team finishes with 16 fewer boards. What made it so challenging to rebound against Miami today?
I thought a lot of it was our aggression. I thought we got extended. It was the first time we kind of got extended. And what Miami does is, one, they're a big physical team, and those guys, they send 3 guys to the glass, pretty consistently. And those guys, by us being extended, I thought we gave up a little bit of inside position, and then we played a lot of zone. I thought that's where they really kind of got some second shots when we got them to miss. They were already, the way the defense is, you're going to have some guys, bigger guys inside of you, because we are up trying to take away shooters. And when the shot is taken, we're coming down, and they got some inside position. So we knew we would have to fight better, and I thought, they did a good job of keeping us on their backs and getting the ball.
Time for one more.
Right, some of the things you said about, getting the team to buy in on aggression and everything, like the clock's kind of ticking against you to do that in the schedule, is getting tough up there. So how do you adjust things at this rate of the season when the margin for error is pretty small?
Yeah, we have to have a sense of urgency, to be honest with you. That's the biggest thing. Having that sense of urgency, knowing that this is has to get done. I think they know that, but we have to do that. Like, it's the talk is, we have to do the actions, and we have to do it. And we do it at times, but the consistency piece of it is, that's the thing that they have to understand. They have to understand, like, every possession matters, and that's going to be the difference. That's going to be the difference. We have to come up with more, dirty plays. We just have to. We got to come up with more those on the ball, on the floor, those type of plays. And then we got to cash in when we have a chance to cash in. We really do, because today we gave ourselves, again, we turned them over. This is the most we turned over a team in a while, and we got out in transition, and so that was an improvement. We took care of the basketball, and that's something that we've been talking about. So again, you learn from every game, but at the end of the day, we got to get ready to get on this road and go down there and prepare to try to win a game. And that's not going to stop. We just got to keep going, and I'm going to keep pushing these guys. I'm going to keep pushing them, and no one likes to lose, and our guys don't like to lose. But we got to do things, better, and we're just not doing them better right now. Thank you, guys.